Then my dad visited me after a few months. So he saw me selling chicken on the street. Tawa laga ke. I think it really broke his heart. After 9/11, everything changed for people of color. There's so many times you were checked on the subways. Once I lost my knife where they were checking, of course, I was randomly picked up for search. When I'm cooking with Gordon Ramsay's kitchen, teaching him modern Indian cooking, रात के 2 बजे थे. All the money I made was lost overnight.
You met the Dalai Lama.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah,
oh.
at this point.
Same day. How is it possible?
Welcome to How the Hell Did I Do It, Chef. It's lovely to see you on MasterChef. और अभी आप यहाँ मेरे सामने बैठे हो. It's wonderful. It's surreal.
Likewise, Karishma, I've seen your journey for so many years. You really hustled and brought so many people together with you. I'm very proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Chef, जब normal जो आम इंसान है आपको देखते हैं तो you think of celebrity chef and this persona of success. But when we were doing our research, we got the first fact about your life is that doctors said you may not be able to walk. And then from there to now, of course, the journey's had so many ups and downs जिसके बारे में हम बात करेंगे डिटेल में. लेकिन अगर आपको डिस्क्राइब करना हो, how would you describe the journey?
It's about my mom's resilience. That's one word. I had nothing to do with this journey. It was her resilience which made me understand that you cannot stop at what people think about you. You cannot believe the noise around you. You've got to listen to your heart. And I think from a very early childhood, I figured out that I'm a different child. So my energies were diverted differently, you know. So that is what it's only about her resilience.
Yeah. क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा था, my son is not destined to walk, he's determined to fly.
वो एक स्कूल में मुझे बर्थडे पे जाना था, तो मुझे जूते नहीं पहने थे, मैं रो रहा था कि मुझे जूते नहीं पहने, सब बच्चे हंसते हैं. तो you know, when you're kids, you know, you can be very unforgiving for somebody, a child who looks different. तब सोसाइटी में इतनी वो भी नहीं थी, जागृति नहीं थी, इतनी सोच डिफरेंट नहीं थी कि बच्चे अलग भी हो सकते हैं. तो मैं बर्थडे पे लड़ रहा था कि मेरे को नहीं जाना. हमारे सामने बर्थडे था, तो मैंने प्रेस ली आयन और मैंने कहा मैंने अपने पैर पे प्रेस लगा दी कि मेरे को पैर सीधे करने हैं. लाइक इट वाज वेरी क्लमजी लुकिंग. तो फिर मम्मा ने कहा था तो पैदा होने चलने के लिए थोड़ी पैदा हुआ, उड़ने के लिए पैदा हुआ. एंड आई स्टार्टेड बिलीविंग इन दैट फॉर्म दैट it was her way of telling me that you're different because your journey is going to be different. It's not going to be easy, I understand. But enjoy the flight.
You learned cooking from your BG.
Right.
And you were in the kitchen fairly often.
Hiding space.
So talk to us about those years, you know, the growing up years. वो कैसे थे?
तो मुझे इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं था कोई बाद में स्पोर्ट्स वगैरह में. All those things were like little because you cannot win and I knew it. स्कूल में होती थी वो फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग क्लास, उसमें भी you cannot win, so you know it कि क्या डिसेबिलिटी है. You know, you're tied with wooden shoes, imagine. And then what used to happen that you still need, as a child, still need a place where you were seen as human more, as somebody who was equal. तो वहाँ पे मुझे लगा कि ठीक है, अगर दिवाली आ रही है तो गोभी शलगम गाजर का अचार बीजी की हेल्प कर रहा हूँ, फुल के basic chopping, cutting. It became a hiding space. And then, you know, just listening to her story and listening to her as she spoke about Indian culture, their freedom fight, their war for freedom. और जो मेरे में आता है ना वो जो global stage पे equality और you know give us a chance, you know, don't dismiss us. That all comes from those stories in my kitchen, but her kitchen was my temple. So मुझे लगता है हर बच्चे को एक सपोर्ट सिस्टम चाहिए होता है पेड़ पे चढ़ने के लिए. I was very fortunate that I was raised by such strong women in the family that they always said that who cares about what they think. And kitchen became my place of storytelling, my learning, my India came through her kitchen.
And you said that it was your hiding place. Is that because you were often bullied in school because of what your leg condition was, or the fact that you were different? Because, and I ask this question because it's so common in schools, that there are groups, and that has a very large effect on you as you grow up.
So मेरा shell के अंदर चला गया था मैं. तो I was like, I failed twice till 5th grade. My sister was 2 years younger than me. We were in the same class. तो imagine that whole thing about एक बड़े भाई के साथ पढ़े हो, फिर छोटे भाई के साथ पढ़े हो, उसके उसी बच्चे के. And for you to go inside that classroom, और फिर you're looking at all the students who were with you, but they are now your seniors. वो एक चीज़ होती है कि आपको physical disability, but it leads to a lot of mental issues for kids. So we had to write an essay on mother. I was very young. हमारे घर के पास ही जो चौक था, वहाँ पे I saw a woman who was begging on the street, and she was breastfeeding. And this is the first time I'm seeing a woman breastfeed. And she was openly breastfeeding, and I wrote an essay on that, on mother. That imagine that even people who are poor and they have no food to eat, but God gives the food to the child through mother.
Yeah.
And teacher thought it was very perverted. They called my mother. They threw me out of the school. And then the teacher also wrote a letter to the next school where I went to that, this child is disoriented. And that always scared me to write original stuff. I had fear. But my grandmother was like, who cares who thinks about this? You did great. And she's like, everybody saying, don't tell him that. He's saying, he did great. He wrote his own essay. And you got to continue writing that own essays for yourself.
Yeah. How did you come out of that shell?
Never came out.
Never
came out. I was forced to take engineering because my brother was so brilliant. He was topper in college and schools. So I was told that on +2 you got to take engineering. But I was a delivery boy in my dad's video cassette library. वो जो होती थी ना तब VHS आती थी तो घर जाके देखे और लेके आओ. So I was that, and I hated that job because people would not give me money if they were late. भाग जा मर तू. But I figured out that I was a great cook because I knew how to make 3-4 Punjabi dishes, and I felt कि अरे बाप रे, we should start a business of this. I shouldn't be wasting my time on my dad's delivery boy. And then we started very young as a businessman.
Yeah. You were 16 when...
16, we started the business when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I made money, and I bought 800 rupees I made, and I bought a pink radio for my mom so that she can hear Lata ji's voice when she goes to sleep. तब रात को गाने आते थे.
After that, there was an incident where you said in an interview, because you couldn't speak as fluent English, you were made to feel underconfident. You felt underconfident, right? Because there were words exchanged.
Abhi
bhi. But back then, when you've already seen certain setbacks in life, and now when this episode happens, it shakes you. What advice would you give yourself if you were looking back at the boy who felt underconfident, felt inferior?
I'm still underconfident. It's good to be cautious. It's good that you have to be prepared before going and meeting people. It's good to be prepared before you open your door of your restaurants. It's good to say a prayer. It doesn't have to be religious, but I call it a शुक्राना. कि आज तेरी इतनी मेहर है कि दरवाजे खुल रहे हैं और लोग चल के आ रहे हैं. People are giving you their time to come to your restaurant. New York has 20,000 restaurants. People have choices to go anywhere, but money is even not the concern.
Yeah.
So how do you set yourself apart? और वो मेरे को डर हमेशा रहता है करिश्मा. हमेशा मुझे कभी-कभी डर रहता है कि how did I get this opportunity? I was not the best chef, not best looking, not the best business mind. How did I get all these opportunities? I'm scared. Okay, why did God choose me? And then I have to keep justifying myself that why me? Maybe I have to this much bigger purpose to this.
Yeah.
But मैं डरता हूँ. मैं बहुत डरपोक आदमी हूँ क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि मेरे पास somebody is on my shoulders. Some ancestors are blessing me to move forward. I hope that blessing stays.
And then you came back, you went back to the catering business, then it had to shut down, unfortunately. And then you took a decision that not a lot of people take, is to go to the US. You had very little money when you took that decision. What were those years like?
My Shushma Didi was like my cousin aunt. She went to America and she told us the story of America. That how you can be free. You can write anything. And I asked her, You can write any kind of essay. It was a very important question for me as a child. She's saying, yeah, but that is also the country which will say that, okay, this is my dish, this is my food, and this is how but the stories of America were very far-fetched for me. And I think I had no choice at that time to survive, that this was my only place I could just hide. So those years were hard as an artist, and not to be diluted with pretending to be their accents and behaving like them, and to have your own ground and said, I cook Indian food, this is how I bring my culture to this country. And I continue to fail non-stop. I opened so many cafes, restaurants, businesses, cooking schools, catering companies. Things just kept falling apart till the right equation came along. When I was leaving Amritsar, it was a night train to Delhi. I remember very clearly. She gave me mishri and dahi. And she whispered something in my ears. Sada na ucha rakhi. Keep our name high. So her patriotism towards India, everything came from her. This whole stand which I used to take about when all the Caucasian chefs almost like stood around me and said, no, this is not going to work like this. So it was like bullying in a very passive-aggressive ways. But you also had the most supportive chefs, from Chef Gordon Ramsey to Chef Eric Ripert, Daniel Boulud, Henry Meir, David Waltuck, David Bouley. These are the top chefs of New York who actually embraced me and said, look at his thought process. We need to have a representation. And that time nobody was speaking about representation.
Yeah.
You got to patronize just the Caucasian chefs and their restaurants. We never had Indian restaurants in lists of Michelin and top chefs, nothing. No list had included anybody who looked like me. So वो दिल टूटता था आपका कि मतलब मेरा प्रोफेसर ठीक था, कहा कि काम सीखो इनके लिए, काम तो आपको करना है, स्टार्स इनको मिलेंगे, काम भी हम करेंगे, स्टार्स भी हमको मिलेंगे. And I don't want this narrative to be changing forever for my new generations to come, and people, kids who are watching us, said, you're superior enough as long as you have pride.
Yeah. I think that's...
New York is not easy, for sure. Oh.
Cold city.
But I was also lucky that I had my sister with me who was like, "Tu yaad rakhi Punjab da sher hai to." Mama ne sher paida kitta. This is what my sister used to keep telling me. Every time a restaurant closed or business shut down, every time I self-published books. I've self-published 4 books. You know how heartbreaking it is? But it was amazing. I will order my own book from Amazon and I'll receive a package. You know,
with my book, yeah.
My book, and self-published. And my sister said, you know, just see one day you're going to work with all the publishers of the world. But you cannot forget कि मेरी माँ ने शेर पैदा किया. She'll always say that to me, and I'm like, that was enough to encourage me to push me forward.
Would you say that the turning point was when you got Salam Bombay?
After 9/11, everything changed for people of color. There was a huge pushback for brown people because people suddenly got confused in America. There's so many times you were checked on the subways. And once I lost my knife with the security on Union Square, where they were checking. Of course, I was randomly picked up for search, and they took my knife, and I didn't speak at all. मतलब हमारा क्या था कि जिप कोड ही बदला था. बाकी जाके अमेरिका में वही पंजाबी शेफ्स किचन में वही पंजाबी लोग, पंजाबी गालियाँ. Not much was happening. So there was no interaction with Americans. Right. There was like you was in total isolation. There was no outside the stainless steel kitchens. तो बिल्कुल पुलिस ने पूछा ये क्या, मैं शेफ हूँ, तो नाइफ है, तो उसने कहा कि sorry, this has to be confiscated. It was a gift to me, one of the top chefs in New York, and I just gave it. So after 9/11, I decided that if I have to continue living in America and I want to be pursuing this dream, I need to be first figuring out a way to get the green card. So Mr. and Mrs. Shah, I bow to you forever. They were like my family. They still are like my parents in America. So they sponsored me. Because I knew that the world was shifting in America after 9/11, and if I need to be in the forefront, I have to be bound by their rules and the protocols of the government, Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So that is when I decided that either fully here or not here.
Yeah, you can't be in between.
And you have to have your self-status totally figured out.
Even around after 9/11, you were feeding people on
Yeah.
site. I feel like that has been a continual theme in your life, you know, that you feed people. That aspect of
रेस्टोरेंट बंद हो गया था, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं थी, तो वेजिटेबल्स थे. सो वो ट्राबेका जो एरिया है डाउनटाउन का वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर के सामने, वो नो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिकॉज ऑफ द 9/11 थिंग. सो सब्जियां थी, चावल था. Sorry, it's very heartbreaking for me. It's been almost 22 years. So we started putting food outside the restaurant. कि पुलाव ही होता था सब्जियों वाला, तो वही रख देता था मैं बाहर. And then my dad visited me after a few months because he knew it that I was shaken by all this and there was a strong discrimination, misunderstanding I would say. So he saw me selling chicken on the street, tawa laga ke. So I think it really broke his heart and he saying चल अमृतसर बुरा था तेरे लिए. मैं कहा नहीं, बुरा तो नहीं था. कहते चल एक गलती होगी, सब कुछ टूट गया, पर दोबारा से बन सकता है, हम साथ तो हैं. तो I told पापा कि पापा I'm gonna make it here. And he says कहाँ से शुरू करेगा? मैं कहा पापा शुरू तो मैंने कर दिया. I remember this conversation. You know, father and son have a very different relationship.
yeah.
They don't want to tell each other love you, but there is something undertone happening.
Correct.
That father will be like, I'm protecting you. But अगर तेरी यही मर्जी है, I'll protect you here also. पर मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं हो कि कर क्या रहा है तो यहाँ पे. मतलब पापा को मैंने खड़ा कर दिया, चिकन बेचो.
But do you think that those experiences ultimately led you to where you were supposed to be? Because it's often you can see the journey looking back. कि मैं पीछे देख के हाँ ये होना था.
Karishma, as you're talking to me, I'm reliving it, but my day-to-day problems are so much that for me it's like some days you dismiss it, but it's good to look back to understand the milestone. You know, giving flyers on Central Park and to be invisible in the crowds holding the subway signs because you get $20, and cleaning homes and cooking in people's homes and sitting cats and walking dogs and, you know, going to New Jersey just to cook 100 pulkas for these kids who have just come from India and making sabjis for them and cleaning their houses, organizing their closets. You do everything to survive. As long as you have pride in what you're leading to. What you're doing at present is your actual moment. But what you can do, taking this path forward, staying mentally stable, staying this positivity around you, that's your potentiality.
Yeah. How did it finally lead to Junoon?
Oh, it's Gordon Ramsey has a huge part to play in my life. And I keep thanking him all the time. So I left Salam Bombay on August 23rd, 2004. I was cooking at the James Beard house and they gave me a microphone and they said, there were 100 diners in the room and they said, this is really a modern take on Indian food. गुलकंद की आइसक्रीम, स्कैलप्स, एक कटोरी चाट होती है उसके अंदर स्कैलप्स भरे हुए थे. This is 2004.
Yeah.
So people are still figuring out Indian food. And we had shirmal, we had Kashmiri, आपका gushtaba, like in appetizer portions, like things which are totally new and अब तो बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया ना.
Yeah.
So they asked me to speak something. मैंने कहा क्या बोलूँ? I didn't speak anything. And my sister, when we were walking out of the Beard house, she's saying, promise me, if you're going to tell the story of India, you need to learn English. And there's no ego in this. You need to be speaking the communication tools, your vocabulary, but you write your own story. क्या बेवकूफ़ों की तरह सबके सामने खड़ा हो गया. तेरे पास मोमेंट था बताने के लिए हम कौन है, कहाँ से आए हैं, हमारा खाना तो सोचता कैसे है, क्यों सबसे अलग है तू. And I was totally dumbstruck उस टाइम पे खड़े होके, hello जी, what is that? You're not in Amritsar. You have to learn the tools of this country if you want to live the American dream. Then I left the restaurant.
Yeah.
I quit the job. मतलब एक होता है ना कि आपको एक uplift चाहिए था, एक मतलब चिराग है, उसमें तेल है, दिया है. You need somebody to light that spark.
Yeah.
That happened to me on the James Beard house. When you have 100 people paying $100 for your food and they're all sitting down and in awe of what you're thinking. और जब खड़े होकर लोगों ने तालियां मारी, मैं कहा यार कभी नहीं किसी ने मारी थी तालियां. And it was a moment of truth for you. You left your job and then there was a lot of grants given to downtown people to open restaurants to revive the downtown Manhattan. And I opened a small cafe, like my Virji opened and I was working with him. And then Gordon Ramsay's team saw this. They called me for Kitchen Nightmares. At that moment, you said the world was shifting. When I'm cooking with Gordon Ramsay's kitchen, teaching him modern Indian cooking, and he said, I would love to keep the dishes in my restaurant, or I'm loving to learn from you. Raat ke 2 baje the. That guy is so passionate to learn. And that elevated the entire position of an Indian chef to be on the mainstream televisions in America. It's the first time they're seeing brown guy in a craft which they do not understand or appreciate. तो मुझे लगा कि ये world shift हो रहा है, which led to opening new restaurants, everything. And then 2008, entire economy of America collapsed.
Yeah. It's water.
All the money I made was lost overnight. So it just, some people who think that you just walked into the country and you made the biggest restaurant, absolutely not true. It led to, there were so many steps which led to getting a Michelin star. It was not just an overnight walk. Mental stability रखनी बहुत मुश्किल होती है, Karishma. To be able to be beaten and to hide your scars and constantly keep moving forward. Everybody in your team is not here for you to win. I have realized that later when it hits you that majority of the people who are around you, working with you, working for you, they are happier when you fall. How do you keep yourself so stably grounded and says, I'm moving on, with you, without you? But you also need to figure out the filter system was so poor for me that I let everybody in, and a lot of setbacks. But it's good, I don't have to write ever my biography. I'll kill a lot of people's careers.
It was at this time, after the recession, and you had to shut shop. And again, there was that cycle.
3 businesses.
Yeah, you had to.
Top notch.
Yeah. You met the Dalai Lama.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah,
oh.
At this point.
Same day. How is it possible? You lock your door, you're handing over the keys to the landlords. Get a call from Tashi, my friend, and she says that His Holiness the Dalai Lama is speaking at Beacon Theatre, you need to come. I'm like, Tashi, I'm absolutely broke. I have a list of people I have to pay. And he's saying, just come. You won't lose anything. And His Holiness touched my forehead. Out of all these crowds of maybe 2,000 people. Totally broken. And then he said, I told His Holiness that all my businesses are shut down overnight for this. And he said, great. Now you're free. Now you're free? What do you mean? He's saying, yeah, just go and explore. Explore the Himalayas, explore Tibet, Bhutan, India. Nothing in my life gave me a moment to think on that magnitude. Yeah. Everybody is like pointing fingers at me that you're never going to make it. And somebody says, this is great when you fail. It sets you free. This is time you redesign your new mandala. You create your new mandala, but don't get attached to it. After its perfection, it's clean, it's done, it's completed, destroy it. Create something more, better and bigger. Go. Things are waiting for you. In a brief conversation, somebody could tell you that go and that was liberating for me, saying that you've been too much attached to the success and the wealth and the name. Now everything is gone, but you are you. You go and explore more. A lot of people I feel in life, they get stuck on the failure point. They feel it's all done and I'm doomed and this is the end. It's not the end. It's just the new mandala has to be redesigned.
Yeah, so that's an interesting
How
perspective.
in the universe would the Dalai Lama be in that city when you're so broken?
And on the same day?
Same day. Same day.
Yeah.
Tashi keeps saying he came for you.
Yeah.
He thinks and his subject of communication was death. Where he says there's nothing as death. It's a reforming of life. This is how our cells work. This is how our bodies work. There are trillions of galaxies in the world. We're just one minute cell here.
Yeah.
We just take it too seriously. You're blessed with all these combinations happen to be alive on the planet, born through these parents, in these cities, learning to grow and grow. There's no death. just enjoy this moment of present tense. And for me, it just uplifted my whole failure story.
Yeah. There's no such thing as coincidences. I'm spiritual. I read a lot on spirituality. I just generally read a lot. And the one thing is that there's no coincidences in life.
Wow.
Your paths cross, you meet certain people. I feel like a message is being delivered to me through the things you're saying. I never met the Dalai Lama. There's no information on the internet about what he said to you. I think you're seeing it in this much detail for the first time.
First, that sudden shift of why would this energy be coming in your space?
Yeah.
And then he's surrounded by so many people at that time. And he touches your forehead because you're so broken right now that you want to just hide now. But you didn't even fulfill your promise when you were just hiding. And I kept my word. I've traveled extensively in Tibet, Bhutan, all those countries, Nepal, Ladakh, North Pakistan. I traveled the whole Himalayan belts. I'd grown a beard almost. And no worries. But I also made money here, there.
Yeah.
And then I documented all my travels. And I wrote a book called Return to the Rivers, which got every big nomination in America.
Wow.
A big travel log. I had more than, I think, almost 3,000, little less than 3,000 recipes of my travels. Of what I was eating, learning, cooking, experiencing. So kabhi-kabhi, I just feel that nirvana moment happens to people who do not make a schedule to travel to the unknown. I had no idea about these countries. Just take a ticket, go there. You will experience life firsthand, which is not planned and cloned on management systems. Just the life will just hit you on your face in a very beautiful way.
Yeah. How did you get back into commercial life?
Oh, I came to America via France, and that was tough.
Yeah, you were washing dishes again in Paris.
I was learning. I
You were
was
learning,
helping
yeah.
in the kitchen. And you felt that, oh my God, I have to get back on this game because I still have one unfinished promise.
Yeah.
Some chefs were so generous and some were like, no, a brown guy is never going to make it in our industry. You're never going to be the top. Matlab, it's like inborn for some people. And some people, on the other hand, were so giving and generous. And it shook me again. And I'm like, wow. If we need Indian food to be on global platform, we have to make success story in New York.
What was the final stretch like till the Michelin Star?
अभी भी final stretch ही चल रहा है मेरा तो लगता है.
No, till the first Michelin Star.
It was a very difficult thing. Andrew Blackmore was my kitchen manager, and he would always say that because Chef Gordon Ramsay told me in 2007, I think I was doing a prawns with saffron coconut sauce. कम कुछ मैंने बनाया था modern type में अपना lighter. So he's saying, Chef, you deserve a Michelin. I know you're going to work towards that one day. The surprise thing was the amount of chefs who called you that evening to tell you that you deserved it. Now, this is what we were talking about all these decades, that we need Indian restaurants and we need Indian chefs to be on the same platform. And पर मेरे को उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ा था. I had to call. I was waiting for sun to rise in India, and me calling my grandmom, who was 94, to tell her that I did it. You did it. That is all I waited all day. My sister came to the restaurant and she said that, you remember you said I don't drink, so she think we're gonna drink a glass of champagne. I said, yeah. But she was not well, so she's saying I can't drink. I said, okay, we'll drink some other time. And I can't tell you that what she said, हम किस दिन पिएंगे. So वो भी dream पूरी नहीं हुई हमारी. But and then I waited all day. Imagine somebody who's waited all day and entire world declares you the king, but you're just waiting to make one phone call in the morning when your grandmother will wake up. मैं कह रहा हूँ इतना time difference क्यों है इंडिया और अमेरिका में? क्यों नहीं सूरज चढ़ा? मैं बार-बार घड़ी देख रहा हूँ. मेरी घड़ी पे इंडिया का टाइम ही होता. क्यों time नहीं चढ़ रहा अभी? But I called her and she was on the bed. And October 5th, and I told her, I won it. That was, for me, it was the most powerful moment of telling her that you won. All what you stood for, your faith, your generosity, your barakat, has won today.
What did she say?
Not a very, like, I would think, "Chal, bahut maza aaya." Nahin. You know, mothers know how to set your moral compass. Don't hide, no flying, sit down, calm down. She said that ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਤਾਜ ਨਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਦਿਨ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ, ਪਿੱਠਾਂ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ, which means that once you've been coronated, you don't wear your crown on your head all day long. You're going to break your spine. I had no idea till date that why she said that, how she knew, because she knew that how many years I'd struggled for that moment. And she said that this is just the beginning of your journey. Be humble, be grounded. Don't celebrate success too much. Don't cry for your failures too much. The chances are equal all the time. इतना कुछ था, आज कितने साल हो गए, right? अभी भी मैं उसी moment को live करता हूँ. And she passed away 4 weeks after that. After 2.5 weeks, we had MasterChef launched in India, and she passed away after. She saw both.
And after that, life changed. MasterChef happened, of
MasterChef was like, I was never cut out for TV.
I don't think a lot of people would agree.
मेरा MasterChef बिल्कुल default है. I just got God's grace. I got lucky of these people taking a risk on me and saying, "Okay, you bring in a different flavor. You don't even look like host. You don't talk like a host. What you say, but somehow it just sticks to your mind of saying that it's not scripted. It is coming straight from the heart."
Yeah.
And
I agree.
And then it's also reaching out to the masses and masses around the country. And I'm very thankful for so much love, and totally life changed.
You've also fed a lot of important people, right, in your career, from Barack Obama to our Prime Minister, even Queen Elizabeth too. How was that experience? How did they receive your food? What did you feed them?
So I was invited at the Buckingham Palace for presentation of my book Utsav to the late Queen Majesty. President Barack Obama, when we were hosting the re-election campaign, I did the entire menu based on my travels through the Himalayas. And the main dish was served as amadashi, which is a dish from one of my favorite countries in the world, Bhutan. Because Bhutan made me understand why I'm a chef. Why do I love feeding people? Why is that? That organicness of people of Bhutan, their love for their own people, their communities, and the way they take care of each other. You know, they don't get construction workers to make houses. So when they get a piece of land, all the neighbors come and they build a house.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. So everybody feels this is ours too. So we don't hurt this. This is not something separate. So every time I've done food, I've done with a theme, so that you promote a much bigger cause. When we were cooking at the White House, we went Satwik. For me, every time I was cooking for people, when I knew it's going to be an important menu, I felt that let's bring India forward. For centuries and centuries, India has championed the concept of vegetarian cooking, full of protein, and a balanced diet with our spices.
I'm vegetarian, so.
Full. Wow.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing
It's,
that the communication started and people are so proud to be vegetarian? We are no less. This is a proper cuisine and diet.
no, more people in the public are also taking on that, right? Like an athlete like Virat Kohli is vegan.
I was speaking to Virat and he said that every time I was consuming meat, he had more inflammation in the morning. He felt more tired in the morning. You know, this is the only cuisine in the world which is based on principles of medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our kitchen is a dispensary, right? कभी घर अगर if you're raised by your grandparents, उनको तो हर बीमारी का अरे ये है अच्छा अजवाइन घीस दे, अच्छा ये है उसका पत्ता रख ले, ये है तो हल्दी पी ले, ये है तो like everything had an answer. बनाए हुए थे and somehow it worked.
Yeah, it works.
Pooja really inspired me.
Yeah.
Pooja did a platter on MasterChef. All these things, all things we think cannot be made without egg. Typical from the French pastry kitchens. And they were all vegetarian. aquafaba is God gift, and how she's taking this whole thing to next level.
She's so talented, yeah.
Oh my God. I have no patience for pastry, but I love watching her cook. Pastry chefs में कितनी patience होती है?
We've spoken a lot about now chef, okay, so Vikas Khanna. We've spoken a lot now. We want to speak a little bit about who's the human Vikas Khanna, because there's very little. So did a lot of research. Your relationship with your mother, even your grandmother by extension, वो आपने कई बार बात की है. कि very close, very there's been a lot of impact on me via them. But what are you like behind closed doors? Who are your closest friends? What are you like on a Sunday?
I have a beautiful home. I have a doggy. Which my doggy has stolen my mom now. Now they both live happily in Amritsar. And he's totally proudly now, he loves Gujarati food, my dog, and my mom is love. अब तो कुलचे मट्ठियाँ से खाता है वो तो मतलब I don't know what happened to him. He's like doesn't want to eat chicken also. He wants अपना मट्ठी खानी है सुबह. But besides that, I stay by myself because I feel my creative energies sometimes get interrupted when I've been in living relationships and when I've done things, and I feel that I'm extremely disciplined to the point where people begin to hate me or live with me.
You've come in many sexiest men in India lists.
Well,
It's there.
I don't know what it means, but okay, I'll embrace it.
You must get a lot of attention. What's your opinion and your take on love?
पानी पी लिया मैंने देख लिया.
Relationships. Stress.
I feel if there's someone like, if there is somebody whom you're going to spend your life with.
No, we're talking about you.
Somebody is there, there has to be two-way road, can't be one way. At this time, if she's watching you, she's also breaking apart and healing and not giving up and keep going, and one day your paths collide and you decide to live a life together, and it's mutual. If she wants to have family or not, it's mutual. If you cook for me, I'll cook for you. It has to be two-way road.
Yeah.
You clean one day and I clean one day. But you also embrace my madness and I'll embrace your madness. We walk hand in hand. It has to be for me, it has to be a relation. I don't know marriage, but it has to be a relationship between equals.
Yeah.
That, all your life you were told you were less. So even in a relationship, I don't want to feel less. I just don't want her to feel less. If it has got to happen, it will happen. I have had that many times, ups and downs, but also because of my crazy lifestyles, things falling apart. I also carry a huge baggage of scars. So sometimes they interfered. But of course, when love will happen, I will give it full chance. I will delete all the baggages in the back which have done it. But sometimes it was always my fault, and I know that. And I accept it. Many men feel that they're less in chivalry if they don't embrace it. I accept it that it was me who was traveling like crazy, ambitious like crazy. 70 hours a week. उसमें फंस गया था 70 hours a week में कि यही मेरी life है. But I'm not missed about. I'm 52. I'm very happy. And I hope wherever she is happy too, and we'll be happier together. It will be. It is what it is. पूजा ने मुझे glass cup दिया है. IIVII. It is. नहीं W. आ गई अंग्रेजी मेरी.
Okay, on that note, we'll move on to our next segment. It's called Things About You We Couldn't Find on Google.
Okay.
What is the most underrated Indian ingredient?
Oh, mulletti.
Mulletti. What is that?
It's a licorice. It's a stem. It's a licorice.
Okay.
And it is so perfumey, but it is also very relaxing to the mind.
Okay. Your favorite dish to cook?
Duck.
Okay. Your favorite Indian restaurant?
In the world?
Yeah.
In the world.
In the world.
Dhamaka.
Where is that?
New York.
New York. Okay.
I will. And in Bombay, it has to be Som at Grand Hyatt or Soma. in South Bombay.
A dish you don't like to eat or cook?
Don't like to eat. The too much creamy sauces. I just feel that they're becoming heavy on me.
Yeah. Would you rather never cook or never taste again?
I don't know क्यों भाई.
This is the option. Which one?
मत कर. एक कभी से उसकी कभी तू पेन ले रही है और किताब भी ले रही है और उसकी imagination भी ले रही है.
Really good. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I eat one meal of the rest of my life. I'm totally disciplined. I eat multigrain khichdi. I eat because I'm very disciplined in grams and consumptions.
Wow. Who's your 3 a.m. friend?
3 a.m. friend, Jay Shetty. And because we are business partners, so there's always stuff going on. Because we expand so much.
Yeah.
But I also love to keep my artist alive. So I like that money can't be the domination force. And at 52, Karishma, I'm opening my flagship restaurant.
Wow.
It was my sister's project, but I promised her that I'm going to complete it. So at 52, you're doing your flagship. Imagine the amount of commitment. People start retiring at this age. I'm like, no. 10 years of the greatest restaurant come cultural center in New York City for Indian cuisine and culture. You're going for it. So he has to be on the phone all night. He's the partner in there.
3 a.m. guy.
Yeah, all it's like, can you appreciate also that you don't consider 4 a.m. as a problem? But no, we got to work for this. So we are all the guardians of that restaurant, and my sister, God bless her soul, she is the owner of it. So we have to be all up all night.
Gotta work for it.
Protect her.
And that note brings me to the last question. You also have a flight to catch. I'm extremely mindful of that because I don't want you to miss this flight. From the guy who got zeros on his report card to today in life, where you are, you're opening your flagship restaurant at 52. That kid who teachers picked on, other students thought he was weak. To today, what advice will you give people who face similar situations in life, who feel like they're failing?
Just remember, there's so much of noise. We don't record that. We record the music. My favorite line is, save your love letters, destroy your bank statements. No offense to banks, but I just feel that it's so important to constantly be connected to your parents and siblings. They are your only connection to past. There's something so sacred about those relationships. Even if your sister blocks you 3 times in a day, she's still the most important person.
That's true.
And then unblocks you, then blocks you.
Yeah.
Wow. I miss that. Stay connected to them. They will be your only partners in the big playoff games. Success is very deceptive. Success brings in closer to you people which have many agendas. Failure, anyone holds on to you. I still have my childhood friends, Rana in Amritsar and Babu in Canada. They're my childhood friends. So we know that, they're not there for agendas, they're there for you. Hold on to those friends. Don't dismiss them because you've risen beyond their reach. I feel that I've done that many times because of the complexities of my work systems are so harsh on me that I took out my anger on them sometimes. Which means not liking a meme they send me. They take offense in that and I love it.
Yeah.
Hold on to those people. They are precious. And love comes to you at the right time. Don't give up on love. Don't give up. Because I know so many people with broken hearts and scars, they suddenly feel that you were not cut out for that. You deserve it unapologetically. But that love, more than love, is always respect for your partner. Yeah. Whomever you choose, just make sure that you respect them equally. You have gone through enough, they have gone through enough. So embrace it.
Yeah. That's good advice to end on. Thank you so
Somebody
much.
who's single is giving full advice on relationship. That is how it works.
Always happens.
Always
Happens, and always best received. Even I'm the same.
I'm giving lecture to Pooja. Pooja, ऐसे क्या कर? Wow, you're giving me lecture on relationships.
Thank you so much for your time.
This was possibly one of the best.
No,
I've
I
had.
think it was fantastic. I don't think we've had as intimate, as honest a conversation. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we wish you all the love and luck.
Thank you. Likewise to you.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Thank you all for being the best community, and I'll see you soon.